the wheel, use a 17mm socket. Take these lug studs out. When you go to the last one, hold the wheel on so it doesn't fall. And then grab the wheel, slide it off. We're going to pull this pad sensor out. Just use some needle nose pliers. Just carefully pull it out. If the clip comes off, just put the clip back on. It's fine. And slide the wire off of that bleeder, just out of the way. Take these covers off right here. Just grab them and pull them off, or you can use a straight blade screwdriver. Take those off. Using a 7mm hex bit, you want to take the caliper bolts out. And the top one. Take this clip off, just use a pry bar, just pry it out, and it slides right off. I'm gonna need a little slack for the brake caliper hose, so I'm just taking this clip off, just using a screwdriver, just prying it out. You can always use some pliers and grab it. Slide that off. We can move the hose, gives us a little more slack. And slide this off. You can take the brake pads off if you want to, just so they don't fall. Use a brake caliper hanger. We're going to hang this up near the coil spring, and so it's out of the way. And make sure there's no tension on the brake hose. We're going to take these caliper bracket bolts out. Use a 16mm socket. Take these two bolts out. Take those out and grab the bracket and slide it off. Now we're going to take this screw out, use a 7mm socket, line that up, give it a little tap if it looks rusty, and take it out. And grab the rotor, and it slides right off. Now we're going to take two pry bars, slide one in there, slide this up, and if you need to, have a helper hold the pry bar while you grab this adjuster and slide that out. It just makes it easier to take this apart. And you can use some needle nose pliers and grab this spring. Slide the spring off. There is another spring on the other side. If you can grab that, you can do the same. But I'm going to wait on those springs first, then take these little springs out. You're going to use a 5mm hex key. And just push in these springs and then turn it 90 degrees. And it should slide right out, just like that. Do the same on this lower one. Just push it in, turn it 90 degrees. And slide it out. A If you want, you can grab the shoes. Just use a pry bar and just try to pry it off the adjuster. Sometimes it's easier with some locking needle nose pliers. And just slide up, slide the spring out. There's the shoe. Now take the shoes and slide them on. They only go one way. This part of the shoe goes towards where the adjuster is. And then this part goes over here. And make sure you take the spring clip, line that up. And just push it in. Might take a little bit of practice. And twist 90 degrees. That's on. I'll do the same with the other one. Line this up down below. The spring retainer. Now we'll take this spring using some locking pliers. And we'll get this started underneath first. Get that locked on. It's all set. It's all in place. And the top spring, do the same. Get this lined up. Push that in place, just like that. One way to help out a little bit is pry this out a little. Then you can take a socket, find one that fits there. This happens to be a 16 millimeter. And then you can pry on the other side. Get the adjuster in. Just be careful of your fingers. There we go, that's set. You can pull the socket out and you're all set. Now you can take the rotor, line it up, slide it on. If you need to make adjustments, make it a little bit tighter, you take a screwdriver and tighten this up. You really don't want it rubbing, just a slight rub. And you can test the park and brake pedal too when you get this all together. If it feels like it's not making enough contact, then you can tighten it up. So I went a little too far there. I'm just going to loosen it up. good. Take the screw, get that started. And we'll just snug this down. And at this point, you can go check the pedal, make sure it's okay. Slide the caliper bracket over the brake rotor. And take the bolts, get those started. Tighten these down. And then I'm going to torque these to 48 foot-pounds. I'll put the outer brake pad on. We'll take the caliper off the hanger. Put the other brake pad in the caliper. And line this up. And torque these to 22 foot-pounds. Put the caps on, just like that. You can take the pad sensor, get this lined up. Push that into the brake pad, then re-secure it near the bleeder screw. Now we can put this clip on. Slide it in place, make sure it locks in there. That looks good. And install the wheel, line it up. Put the lug nuts in. Now I'm going to torque the lug nuts to 110 foot-pounds in a star pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. And just go around again, double check.